From a classroom teacher to a selfless social worker with a master's degree, a self-made woman with loads of personal life experiences and challenges. She stops at nothing to reach people from all parts of the world. To be motivated and inspired, it is time to connect with Caroline's Motivational Television, CMTV.
Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Caroline's Motivational Television. I am so happy that you logged on today. If this is your first time, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure that you like and share with your friends. So today we're going to be touching on a very beautiful topic that I am pretty sure that a lot of you will love, because I know that every single one of you has an attachment with their childhood. A lot of us, if we were given the opportunity to revisit our childhood days, we would not give it a thought, but we will jump right into it. The experiences that we lived during those days of our childhood are memories that we do not want to let go of. Sometimes when we think of them and we think of those friends that we shared those moments with, there are some beautiful things that we always love to talk about. They were so adventurous, and we may look back and say, oh my goodness, I used to suffer in those days. But trust me, at the end of the day, when we think of those days, we always say those days made us who we are today. It get moments where when we are home and then we're done with house chores, oh my God, my brother, may your soul rest in peace. Me and my brother, we had a trick, a beautiful trick that we always use when we want to play with our friends. We used to live on this hill, and our friends, their house was all the way down there. And it was always so hard to leave home, because by the time you start walking down the road, my mom or my dad, they have already sighted you going. So we had this trick that we always used, because there was like, we needed to play with our friends, so we had to come up with this in order to make sure that we just disappear without anybody questioning. So when it's time to go, my younger brother will look at me and I'll look at him. We will signal each other, and out of the blue, this guy will come and just slap my hand. As soon as he slaps me, he starts running down the hill. He starts running down the hill and I have to chase him. I am chasing, he's going, and I'm going, come back here, come back here. You see me today, you see me today. Come, if I catch you. As soon as we disappear from our parents' eyes, we give high five to each other. We're gone. We just disappear out of the eyes of our parents, so they can't say anything, right? They will say, they are fighting. That is it. We go, we play fine, and then come back like nothing happened. Well, Papa God, there were times that when we see a helicopter coming, when we see a helicopter or aeroplane, we just understand, we just know that it is coming to land in our field. Wherever we are, we drop everything to run to where this is going to land. It was two things. If it's an aeroplane, we know that it is going to land at the airport that we had. If it was a helicopter, we knew exactly that it was going to land at the field, which was in the middle of the city. So the aeroplane, the airport was a little bit further away from the city. It was outskirts of the city, but the field, which is the main field, was in the center of the city. So we will choose. If it's an aeroplane, we have to start running, and we have to run hard. During that time, you have to wear your sports shoes, because you know that because it's an aeroplane, the distance is far, so you have to run faster, or else you won't meet that aeroplane. If it's the helicopter, at least that's a little bit closer. So even if you have your 2-rope slippers on, you are running. Drop everything and run, or else you're going to miss the fun. The bad thing is that we did not even have cameras then. Cameras were not that common, so we couldn't even take pictures. But come and see running. People bypassing each other, people overtaking each other to make sure that they get to that field before the helicopter takes off. We usually succeeded to get there. And then the aeroplane, wherever God, that distance wasn't easy, Massa. The distance was not a small thing, but we would run until we're running and stopping until we get there. Chai! Only to get there and just walk around it, because most often when we get there, the people who came with it, they're already gone. So we just walk around it, admire it, and then go home. And then when it's going, helicopter bye, or aeroplane bye, please come again. And with the aeroplane, when we succeed to get to the destination where the aeroplane is, we don't usually come back home empty-handed, because the airport was in a palm plantation. So when we leave the aeroplane, as we are going back home, we just go through the palm plantation and try to find some palm nuts to take home. Because at least if you were washing plates at the time that you left for the airport, when you take the palm nuts back home, at least you can use that to buy your head from your parents. The palm nuts can be used to make soup in the house. So at least that can convince your parents not to give you koboko. Buy your head. Where Papa Godi, Terence Mokube always says that, Carol, I don't want to die. I do not want to die, because if I die today, I'm going to miss sardine. Sardine, normal sardine. Sardine, canned sardine. That is what we are going to miss if we have to die today. That's what we say. Terence say, Carol, I no one die. No, I no one die. If I die, I go overvex, as if corpses get angry. Those days, my goodness, sardine was a delicacy. I mean, where did we ever get the money to even afford a can of sardine? 125 francs. That was a fortune. You will have to save your feeding money. You know, you get 50 francs to go to school to eat. So you will have to keep 10 francs, 10 francs, 10 francs, 10 francs times how many? Times 12 point something days for you to afford a can of sardine. So during Christmas seasons, that's when we usually had more than enough. If you have 500 francs to spend on Christmas Day, hallelujah, that's beautiful for you. So those were the days. It's either Christmas or 11 February, 20th May, those days that kids leave their parents and go for celebrations, march past, and the parents know that, well, they will not be coming home for lunch. So at least they have to give them money to feed. Those are the days that we eat sardine. You buy your one can of sardine and you just buy a long, that time we say boulangerie bread, long boulangerie bread like that. They will just open the thing like that, put sardine, and then just take the oil of that sardine and just pour it inside like that. See, no man will reach you that time. You're eating that bread as if your whole life depends on that sardine. Where is Saku? Hey, growing up, I remember sometimes when we are hungry, you know, we've already had dinner at home or lunch at home, and then in between lunch and dinner, that hunger strikes again and we don't know what to do. There's no food in the pot. Mommy is not home. Papa is not home. There's nobody you can run to ask for food. We just go to the nearby bushes. We hunt for wild yams, come back, boil it, eat, and we're good. Thankfully, they were not wild enough to kill us. We survived it. When you're going to school in the morning, make sure that you get to school on time. Oh, if you don't get to school on time, you are in trouble with the teachers, because as you're going to school, you sight your teacher walking to school from afar. You have to run until you run past them, because once they step their feet into the school compound before you're late. It doesn't matter if they themselves are late, so you better run with your two tiny legs. Run until you run past them. Be the one to arrive school before they get there. So if you're late, be ready for 6 strokes. Oh, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. In those days, they said that was the only way to correct a child to come to school early. But honestly, it was brutal. It was brutal. Can you imagine 2 people holding your hands, the other 2 people holding your legs? No, 4. One person this hand, one person this hand, one that leg, and the teacher is whipping you. They will beat you until for coming late. Let me not even go to the one that they say morning mental. If you are in an examination classroom, morning mental, that they have to beat every one mathematics or arithmetic that you fail. It's 1 stroke. And then for those of us who did not know maths, so where Papa go, they suffer. They will beat you. That pushed us to even looking into somebody else, your neighbor's books, because we didn't want to get beaten. They will beat us until we have to go to the washroom during break, and we're counting the lines on our buttocks. You count lines until, show me your own, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see lines, you see cane lines. Hey! You call that you're trying to straighten a child. You call that you're trying to make a child to study. Master, that was too much now. Person go cry so knock his skin, so you imagine that a stroke, cane molongo is landing on your buttocks and you can't even touch it to rub it to make you feel better. Oh, child. It wasn't easy. Another one was devotion. When you people are standing on devotion, this was a beautiful way of reminding kids that they have to bathe in the morning before going to school. So they will line everybody up and they say, okay, inspection time. The teachers will have to go from one kid to another. Come and see inspection. Hey, they will inspect your hair, they inspect your teeth, they inspect your nails and your uniform. They make sure that they look at your body to see if you bathe or not. The hair, they will tell. They will do this with a cane and look at it. They will say, show your teeth. And then they look at your uniform. They will do this on your back. They will touch it like this. If it turns white, they say you did not bathe. You're in trouble. Why? Every morning, that was the routine. Devotion time. You're like, oh my goodness, your uniform has to be clean, because if not, then you're in big trouble. There were parents who used to come to school to fight, because they would tell the teachers, listen, I am the one who washes my child's uniform. So if I don't have the soap to wash it, you don't have to beat the child for that. There were parents who used to come to school to query the school if their kids are sent out of school for school fees. Hi! They will say, listen, I am the one paying it, and if I don't have it, don't penalize the child. Don't beat the child, because they are not the one who can afford. They are not the one who pays that school fees. It is me. So if you want to query anybody, send a letter to me and query me, not my child. Hi! Some parents will some parents, they would not take that. Who remembers when you lose your tooth, what happens? You have to take this tooth. They say, if you don't throw this tooth across the zinc of your house, that is the end of your tooth. Your tooth is not going to grow up. Your tooth is not going to grow again. If you don't succeed to throw it across the zinc, where Papa God, when you lose your tooth, you're begging and praying, oh my God, I have to be able to throw this tooth across this zinc, because that will be the end of story. You have pororo, one teeth lost. So we will take it, and as you are throwing it, they say you have to tell the moon, because it is the moon that brings back your tooth. So when you're throwing it across the zinc, you have to be saying, moon, when you're coming, bring back my tooth. Oh, moon, if you can't, bring back my tooth. When it's raining outside, it's an opportunity for kids to bathe now. You don't have to wait for a special time to go fetch water come and bathe. As soon as you hear rain, take the opportunity because it's your time to bathe. When you bathe under the rain, you don't think about soap. You have all your clothes on. You're running under the rain with your friends. You're running under the rain with your friends. As soon as all your body gets wet, it's done. You bathe for that day. End of chapter. So if your mother says you don't wash, yes, end of chapter. Now, wow. You carve a plane like that with a paper and just attach a thread on it. Come and see running. Hey, Usain Bolt never reach you. He will use this thing because the faster you fly with this kite, the higher the kite goes. So you have to speedo. Speedy Gonzalez. And you see the kite just going like that. If you don't know how to make it, the person who does it and it's flying up there, we have to go and harass that person because we will beg and beg and beg for them to help us to do our own. Everybody wanted to own a kite and everybody wanted to own the kite that will fly highest. So we will beg for it to be made properly, and then you have to run. You have to run. The faster you run, the higher your kite will go. Hi, Papa God. Hi, that's so mango she done. Oh, we'll sit like this and watch TV until you fall asleep on the couch. You fall asleep on the couch like that. Bam! You don't even know when you fall asleep. You get up in the morning, you're on your bed. You look around, you don't even remember. You fell asleep on the couch, you find yourself on the bed. Your parents will have to carry you, or the older siblings will have to carry you. So they were the ones who were in trouble because I remember how my mom used to tell my sister, carry your brother, carry your sister, and they'll be grumbling, oh, that means me the sleep for chair. But you have to do that. And it just goes like a cycle because as somebody is doing it for you, that is how you will do it for your own younger siblings. It was just continuing like that. Every night you have to carry somebody. Go sleep now when you want to sleep. No, you're watching TV. Only for you to fall asleep, to torment another person to carry you. And then not to talk of all those games that we used to play. There's so many, I can't even name them. Tabalao, dodging, hide and seek. Competition. Come and see competition. I remember even when one time we were playing and one of my cousins, she didn't know how to run. So every time she plays the game, she will fail. So she will be the one to always be on the outside while others are having fun. One day she burst into cry. She was crying. But we will ask her, are you crying? She will be like, no. Are you crying? No. But she's crying. It was so funny. Are you crying? No. But she's crying. It was really fun. Childhood was really fun. I mean, we entertained each other. We would tell stories. Even we used to have homemade cinemas. Homemade cinemas. This is when there was no TV. Homemade cinemas. The bigger boys, I don't know how they did it. They will put a box. They will open a box and put it by the wall side. And they will carve human beings with scissors. Just draw a human being on paper. Carve it with the scissors or a razor blade. And then use sticks to just put the paper in the middle. Like you can have a paper like this. And this is a stick. After you carve it into a human being and you have it here, and you're having two people fighting together. In the evening, they will assemble the kids. Oh my goodness. And they put a lamp in that box. And then they will just be playing with the two people that they've socketed in those sticks. And you'll see, and we'll be shouting there. They will be there, push. People are fighting, it's war. And we are there, yay! Oh yeah! Movie night! Oh yeah! Beat up! Every night the same kind of movie. But it was a blast. Android generation has changed everything. Life is no longer the same again like when I used to grow up. When I was growing up, it was different. It was interaction with each other, doing things together, But nowadays, kids can be in the same space and everyone is glued on their phones. You don't even know what, like, you can literally visit a friend and you both will spend time on your gadgets instead of interacting. That is the big difference. Kids nowadays are missing out a lot on the fun that we used to have. Android has changed everything. It's not like today that kids are scared of going outside, or parents are scared of leaving kids outside. It was so free to just walk the streets and play together, and when it's time to go home, you just go home. It was as simple as that. We may see it today as if we were suffering, but believe me or not, if I was to go back to my childhood, I would not even think twice. I will go back, because just the nature of it, not worrying about all these social media and electronics and gadgets, it was just natural living. The generation gap that we have now, it's just too much that you cannot even compare both. It's just a big gap, big difference between the growing up in those days and the Android generation. Guys, cherish the experiences that you have, because what you are today, it is as a result of the challenges, the experiences that you lived as a child.